Welcome to Lifeway's Ministry Success webinar series. Lifeway exists to honor God and serve churches by designing trustworthy experiences that fuel ministry. For over 130 years, we've created resources to help church leaders carry out the greatest mission, to make disciples of Jesus Christ. We invite you to visit lifeway.com and discover all the ways we can help to empower you and your ministry with thoughtful research and trustworthy resources. Today's webinar is brought to you by Lifeway's Ministry Success Team. We believe that successful ministry requires teamwork, and we want to be on your team, walking alongside you every step of the way. This webinar will be recorded, and you will receive a link via email to rewatch at your convenience. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to our Lifeway Women Digital Events webinar. It is such a joy that you would take the time today to join us and learn more about how we serve churches in our digital events here at Lifeway. I know we've got other friends joining us, so as we get started, I would love to just share a little bit about what we're going to talk about today and introduce some friends that I have with me as well. We at Lifeway do a lot of different kinds of events, but today we want to focus on our digital events and specifically how we help churches and women's ministry leaders plan and put on a successful digital event at their church. And so that's our focus for today. And to do that, I didn't want to do that by myself. I wanted to do that with friends. So I would love to introduce you to the rest of our team. We all serve on the events team here at Lifeway. My name's Mickey, and this is Amy here in the studio. And we also have Hannah and Vincent joining us virtually.
Hey, everyone.
And so I'm so glad that you guys, we can all, even though we're not all in the same room, I'm so glad we can all be on here to talk about it because these are events that we all love. And so it's just fun to get the opportunity to share more about that today. So glad that you guys are joining us. We do have a chat going. So as you guys are joining, if you can hop into the chat, we would love to hear from you. We'd love to know your name, love to know where you're from. And also we would love to know if you have a funny event story. I don't know about you, but if you have been around events for a while, you've probably got some stories. And so we would love to hear that. Feel free to drop that in the chat. But Amy, I think you've got a story. You kick us off here.
I do have a story, and especially about simulcasting in digital events. I've been doing events for 22 years now. I came into Lifeway doing the very first simulcast event that Lifeway offered. And my funny story is I had to call churches and ask them to put a satellite dish on top of their church building. I was trying to today think about how much that maybe have costed the church.
Mm-hmm.
I could not remember after 22 years, but just the faithfulness of those churches to agree with us to put that satellite dish. And I'm so glad that we're beyond that. So that's my funny story. I think Vincent has a funny story as well.
Yeah, so mine comes from the newer age. We had a lot newer technology, and so we were doing a digital event in Alabama, and so when we bring our digital events in, we have extra gear and people, and sometimes that means we got to kind of fill in the nooks and crannies of the backstage spaces. But if I could paint a picture, you can imagine rolling cases and monitors with every camera angle and wires going everywhere. It's a little bit of what it looks like in the back. But we're all set up for this event, and I don't think it was quite happening yet. And then one of our guys was just sitting there, and he noticed something just keep moving every few seconds. And eventually noticed a leak was happening. And if you made a list of, probably the top 10 things that would not be good with technology and with electricity, it would probably be water. And that is exactly what was happening. It was dripping right on into everything. So all our people jumped into action. Somebody's holding a bucket, somebody's wrapping string around the bucket to hold it in place. And thankfully, eventually we got the leak stopped and everything dried. Nothing happened. We had a great event, thankfully. But man, thankfully it's a funny story now. It could have been a not so funny story. But yeah, good funny story now.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The most important part of the story is that the event went well. So
That's
before
right.
we immediately discredit ourselves from being event coordinators, those are stories, satellites, water, things that have not gone great. But our hope within this webinar is to tell you why your event could go great. So a strange opener for us, but with good stories comes really good experiences. And Amy's like our grandma of events in some ways. She's not that old, but she's just been around events for a long time. And so she has a lot of experience, and digital events are in a totally different age now. People live stream their church all the time and have all sorts of things like that. We're so equipped digitally. And so events are the perfect way for you to get to also use digital platforms. So our hope within this webinar is that by the end of it, you feel equipped, you feel knowledgeable about the ways that you can partner with Lifeway, that we want to link arms with you and bring digital events to your churches and show you how easy they really are to host. When we were thinking about this webinar, we were saying, we try to do all the planning so that you guys can push play. And so our hope is that we get to communicate some of the ins and outs of what that looks like and where we're headed even this year in regards to digital events, what we have kind of coming up in the calendar that you could be bringing into your churches. So that's a little bit about who we are. I'm Hannah. I didn't say my name yet, but I'm excited that I get to join y'all here today and just share and join digitally too. I'm not in studio. So it's one of those ways that we all get to connect via the internet, which is great. So now that you guys know a little bit about who we are and our roles within Lifeway, we all work on the digital event team. And we also do some live events, but we work on the digital event team for the purpose of this webinar. And we want to know a little bit about who you are. So you might be joining this webinar thinking, I've never hosted a digital event before, or maybe I've never even attended a live event before. Or you might be thinking, we've done so many Lifeway events and we just want to know what's coming up this year. So we're going to kind of cover all those different things. You might be the person who loves to cook and wants to welcome everyone to your church and do a homemade meal, or you might hate cooking and want to cater, and you might not want to do food at all. You might want to plan a sunrise event and have it be something that fits your schedule. So there's people all over the spectrum of what it looks like for you to bring events into your church. You might be the person who wants to have the teaching brought there, but you want to provide your own worship, or you might want the full package and have worship and teaching combined for you to just be able to push play on. So there's people that have all sorts of different giftings, all sorts of abilities, creativity, decor they want to bring in, absolutely no decor, all the things. And there's space for you within digital events. And so we're excited to just get to connect with you. And hopefully you feel empowered by the end of this webinar, knowing some different ways that you could bring a digital event to your church. So Amy talked about satellites at the beginning, and we are not there anymore, but we can talk a little bit about how easy digital events actually are these days.
Yeah. Like I said, we're not calling y'all on the church line anymore, asking you to put a satellite up on the top of your church building. If you're able to do any of the streaming platforms at home to watch your favorite movie, your favorite series, it's as easy as that, is just your remote and pushing play. You'll see that all the time in our marketing materials. It's as easy as pushing play. So no hardwiring, no that's not already there with your internet and stuff. So Vincent, you had a funny story about somebody asking a question about if somebody going to come set up my materials.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. We've been giving the old satellite a hard time because it seems kind of foreign to us nowadays, but it's not so foreign. And it was only, 20 years ago that we were doing that. But yeah, nowadays you can, it's as easy as push and play, and we'll talk more about what that looks like. But recently we had a question that made us chuckle because we think about the simplicity of it now, but they were asking just what you said, Amy, of is somebody going to come and set up our technology for us? And, obviously they were thinking this robust technology that's needed. And thankfully, it's not necessary. Depending on your setup, you may have more intricate or more advanced technology than others, but it's not as necessary as it once was. And so nobody is going to come and set it up because it's from our team, at least, because it's already within what you most likely have. You just need an internet access. You need a device to play it from. So that could be a laptop or some type of system so you can cast it to screens if you have those, if you're doing a large gathering. And then, maybe thinking about having enough chairs for everybody in the room. But even that isn't necessary as just the internet and a device. So it's really simple. We were thinking as we were prepping for this, some of the hard things in our lives, and it's gotten a little bit better, but even just a couple of years ago, and maybe still now for you at your home, you may have like 3 different remotes to turn on the TV and watch Netflix. You got one that turns it on, one that controls maybe a sound system, another one that actually goes to the smart capabilities to find the app. There can be lots of technology that's complicated in our lives. But thankfully, hosting a digital event really isn't as complicated as some may think it is.
I love that, Vincent. And, for those of you that are watching today, some of you may be watching this because you've maybe felt a little intimidated. Maybe it's piqued your interest over the years about doing a digital event, or maybe you did it years ago. Like Amy was saying, maybe the technology was different and you're curious. Hopefully we have painted a picture for you that it really is simple now, and that technology's come a long way to provide just a seamless event. But on top of just making it easy for you, we also try to make it customizable for you. And so, we customize so many things in our lives. And I'd love to know in the chat some things that you customize. I know something that we do a lot when we're on the road for events is Starbucks orders. Everybody's got a certain customized Starbucks order that they want, and people are making them crazier and crazier. I get really intimidated when I have to order something at Starbucks because of everyone's customizations. I don't know about you, but what kind of customizations do you make in your life? Would love for you guys to put that in the chat and let us know. Amy, what kind of customizations do you do?
Well, not coffee. I'm not a huge coffee drinker, but during the Super Bowl, we were all talking about how we customized our buffalo chicken dip. Each of us made buffalo chicken dip in a different way.
Oh, I love that. That's so good. That's fun. And we were kind of teasing Vincent because he's a little particular. Aren't you, Vincent?
Yeah, that's a good word for it. Picky is another word. Yeah, my eating habits are not the strongest. And so pretty much most food in my life is customized, especially if I'm going out and ordering. I'm like, I'll take this chicken, but I don't want the broccoli and this other thing that comes with it. Can I trade this? Can I trade that? Lots of meats and starches for me, sadly. So I don't condone my eating habits, but it is I'm thankful for the customization that food places allow us to have now.
That's great.
And really, digital events are no different in the sense that Vincent's like, can I trade this or can I trade that? We're like, yes, you can. So digital events are perfect for people like that. I mean, they're perfect for everyone, but they're perfect for people that also want to customize. And we're going to talk about some of those specific ways that you can customize. So I kind of said before, if you're someone who wants to host a sunrise event, I am like a morning bird through and through. So I would be the person who would love to have an event at 7 a.m. And with digital events, you can. So there's so many ways to customize, but I'm going to focus in on just a couple, being timing, teaching, and tone. So hopefully the alliteration helps you remember it a little bit, but there's tons of different ways you can customize events. Crystal Dunlap, one of our simulcast specialists, was saying in the chat that living on the West Coast, having the timing to be able to customize is so nice. You might not be able to join for a live simulcast event, but a digital event allows you to place that whenever you want in your schedule. You could do an 8 p.m. event. You could break it up if you already have Bible studies that meet. They could watch part of the digital event over 4 weeks and have that just be set on your Thursday nights. So you can do a Saturday event, a different day of the week, whatever works for you in regards to timing. You can customize in that way. The tone of the event. So this one, kind of like I was saying, if you are the person who wants to go all out on decorations. You're like, balloon arches are my hobby. Like, you can do that. Or you can just open the doors and welcome women in and be that smiling face and totally set the tone of what your event looks like. The digital event is there to support you and your team in regards to what you want that event to be. And then teaching. If you are someone who loves, having live music and wants to have your own worship team come in, or you want to make it acoustic style or hymns or whatever you might want, you could customize your own worship and then have the teaching be something that you do through a digital event. Or if you want to have, the worship be a part, we have worship that accompanies our digital events. And so you would be able to just, push play and stream the event all the way through, worship, teaching, everything included, and just kind of open your doors and be ready to go. So there are so many different ways. You can make it comfy, casual, formal. With our Prepare Him Room event at Christmas, I'm like, you guys could wear your Christmas jammies, or you could wear, Christmas ball gowns if you wanted. There are so many customizations of you getting to make the event in the ways that you want to. So we try to make it customizable so that it works for different churches. Our goal is to support church hosts and the flourishing of churches. And so digital events are one way that we really aim to do that. So those are some of our ways that we love that churches can customize. But we've also had churches tell us ways that they've specifically loved to customize. So Amy, you want to share those with us?
Yeah, I would love to. We love to hear from churches because y'all are so creative in taking something that we give y'all, we produce for you, and making it so creative the way you do it. I'm going to read a couple testimonies of how people have customized it. This one church said, we did the simulcast a little differently than everybody else, and how y'all recommended it. We had dinner and a game night at the church on Friday night, and then they dispersed on Saturday to different home groups where it was more intimate. They were able to do multi-generational groups. People were comfortable in their home, and then they came back Saturday night and dissected it all and talked about what they had learned and stuff. We loved that idea, just a little spin on what we had told them. Another church said, we decided again to do it in multiple homes throughout our city, so the women could find convenient locations. They could invite other women that may not be as comfortable going into a church to do an event. They were comfortable going into their neighborhood homes. Their goal was to get at least 30 women to participate, and God showed up and we had 130 women. So we're hoping that same thing for you. Finally, just in the way that we give you the information, and you can make it as simple or as fancy as this one church said. They said this event was such a blessing, allowing us to come together as simple or quotes fancy as we desired for the simulcast. So we've got so many ways. We've got books upon books of ways that other churches have hosted the digital events and the simulcast events. And we would love to share those with you, but we love for you to share ideas with us so we can share those with others.
Yeah, I love that. And, we've so far in this webinar, we've talked about kind of how it is easy to put on a digital event. And now we've talked a little bit about how you can customize it. And maybe some of these things that we've shared are just a brand new concept to you. You didn't realize that these could be custom, to fit the needs of your women's ministry. But hopefully you're starting to kind of it's painting a picture for you about how you can do it. And now we'd like to tell you more just about how to do it. And one of the things we like to say is to go big, or you can either go big or go home, kind of that phrase. You can make it really big, or you can keep it simple. And so that's one thing to think about. You could really build this up, to Hannah's point about, pajamas versus, Christmas, fancy. You can really build something up, or you can keep it more at that simple. And that's something that we would love to share more about with you. And, you could do all of this. You guys could do this on your own, but we also want to do it with you. We want to be part of it and help you and make you feel like you're not alone, and be able, especially for your first one. I feel like if you haven't done one with us before, once you do one, I think you're just going to feel kind of just like set free. Like, okay, I've done this, I've experienced it, but we want to be there for you. And so, Vincent, can you tell everybody watching today just how we do that? How do we partner with churches to help them put on a digital event?
Yeah, I'd love to. that's one of the things that we think we do well, and something that is really at the heart of what we do and the decisions we make across digital events is to be able to serve church hosts specifically very well, and hosts that are hosting in small groups, kind of like what we mentioned of hosting at your home, hosting in church. Any of those hosts we want to serve well. Before I go into a few bits of detail, I do want to mention, just if you do ever have questions, you can ask us later. But since we're here right now, we'd love for you to put some questions in the chat, and we'll answer those towards the end of this call. So if anything makes you think of a question, feel free to put it in there. But let's talk about how we support you. So we have several resources that we provide, but what kind of the overarching thing, we want you to know that when you purchase a digital event, when you decide to host a digital event with us, you're not just downloading and purchasing that thing, and that's one and done. You're really, in a way, purchasing and gaining a team, because we've got the 4 people here that work on digital events. I'm going to talk about 2 other groups of people that you may reach out to across our digital events at Lifeway. But we want you to feel supported and equipped. And we put that into our resources. We put that into, like I said, the decisions that we make, so that you aren't alone. Because some of you may have a team that you work with of either volunteers or other staff members to help execute events. Others may not have a team at all. And we want you to know that you really aren't alone. So a couple of the items that we create are customizable promotional material. And what that means is that we've created different assets that have our logos and kind of the branding elements. And then we've left some blank spaces so that you can fill in your specific information. So where it is, the location at your church, maybe the dates and times. And if you decide to put a cost to it, if you're serving food or want to recoup some costs, any of that information you can put in there. And we create flyers that you can print out and put on the back of a bathroom stall, or we've got social media assets that you can put out on the church account. All these things are just come free when you purchase a digital event with us. We also have something else that's a program book, and it's when you go to an event, a lot of times you get a program book in your hands, and just because this event is through the screen doesn't mean we don't want tangible things. And so you might decide that you want an extra little thing that you can set at everybody's seat or at their table that they get. And that it's free. It's just the cost of printing, which is fairly low, thankfully. And it provides some more branding things. Some of them walk some of the content. There's elements of the content that's going to be taught on, as well as just some notes pages where women can take notes and then have kind of a keepsake afterwards to go back and refer to these notes time and time again. Even after the event has expired and you can't watch the teaching anymore, they can go back and watch these, or to read these notes rather. Another big thing that we do, that if you are hosting a digital event for the first time, this is the first place we're going to send you. We create a host guide, and it's a step-by-step guide that walks you from step 1 to step 30. Anywhere in between, it'll tell you exactly what to do. But this also goes back to what we've been saying about go big or go simple. At the first few pages of it, it's going to tell you how you can go simple. And that's kind of how we started this call of, you need an internet connection, a device, and a screen. And that's all you really need. But if you want to go bigger, if you want to host maybe several hundred women in a gathering or multiple gatherings, we walk through what each of those could look like. And we give you ideas of maybe some volunteer roles that you might want to have, some follow-up actions that might be wise. We really try and spell it all out there so that you, whether it's your first time or your 50th time, you can refer to it and just walk through from start to finish on completing a digital event. But if any of those didn't work for you, if you still had questions, we have 2 teams that are reachable almost any day of the week, that you can reach out to. So we have a really knowledgeable customer service team here at Lifeway that you can reach throughout the work week, and they can help you, or if you have a tech person, they can help troubleshoot like technical things that may be going wrong in your system, but they can also just help if you're having trouble downloading something. These folks can help you with that. We also have a team called our simulcast specialist, and if you've seen in the chat, Crystal is one of our simulcast specialists. We've got a team of these women who volunteer just because they love digital events and hosting hosts like you and helping you walk through. And what they're there for is help you with things like planning and promotion. So our customer service team can really help on the ins and outs and the technical things. This team can help you understand, if events aren't your thing, or this is your very first time hosting an event, they can help you with what you might want to be thinking about. And if there's this many people coming to the event, here's what you might want to think about when it comes to food or seating or even temperature in the room. All these things that have come up over the years. These women have walked countless numbers of hosts through this, and they would love to continue to help support you as well. It's not a automated robot call either one of those teams. They're real people, and they really want to help you. So that's just a few ways that we support. There's even more once you get into it, but that's some of the resources that we offer, and I think we want to kind of walk through what some of the other benefits to host an event are. So Hannah, would you tell them a little bit more about what those could be?
Yeah, I love it. I love the simulcast specialists because they're so near and dear to us. And I love how Vincent said they're not robots. They're real people. And you'll see Crystal in the chat. She had jumped on here with us just to share information. And they're here to support your events. And so a lot of the time they, form relationships over email, just chatting back and forth. And we love then when we get pictures from the church host because they really feel connected to Lifeway and them getting to see, here's how our event went. And those bring us like a lot of joy since we don't get to, attend all of your digital events, but it's a really sweet way for us to get connected with y'all. So there are so many benefits to hosting. And so I'm going to kind of run through a few, and they might feel like a little bit all over the place, but some of these will apply to some of you and other ones, maybe not. So something that we have is a host discount code. So the event can be something that really supports your ministry, but a lot of you may use Lifeway resources as well. You might walk through Bible studies throughout the year. And so the host discount code is meant to be something that you're able to then purchase things for your church or for the women in your ministry, different studies that you're gaining a discount on by hosting the event. And so that is just a perk that we like to give you guys as you think about becoming an event church and then also becoming a church that does Lifeway studies with different authors. And so we'll talk about where we're headed in regards to digital events this upcoming year and the different authors and speakers that we're partnering with for those. But you might not be able to get onto, Kelly Minter's calendar and have her come to your church for an event, but this is a perfect way for you to be able to bring one of your favorite Bible teachers to your church and get teaching that is really solid, biblically accurate, that you can trust and you can know what is going to be said from stage. So one of our hosts, they had left us a testimony after they had watched the Prepare Him Room event this past year. And they said they host a Christmas event every year with a speaker. And it's been wonderful these last 2 years to have trusted speakers who they know will bring not only a beautiful message, but an accurate and biblically sound one. So we love that they trust Lifeway, that they believe that is true, and they purchased they're going to do Prepare Him Room for the 3rd time in a row this year. So we love that our hosts return and that they try out a digital event with us and they keep on coming back. So that is a huge benefit, knowing that you're going to have biblical teaching. And another benefit that we love to host is getting to put yourself on our host location map. So this one made me excited because it doesn't just have to be women from your own church that are joining your event. It can be women from all over your community, state, like it can reach very far. So one of our hosts had told us how she had ladies from 45 different churches in the area attend. So if you imagine where you are, 45 churches pouring into your doors is incredible across demographics, ages, denominations. And she said it was a really cool way to see their community come together and worship. And the women that joined want them to do it again. And that is one of the benefits too of digital events is you can do it again. And we host digital events every single year. Excuse me. So there's always another way for you guys to join in, even if live events aren't always, in your area. And then another thing that Vincent had referenced that I wanted to chat about was the cost. And so our digital events cost, different depending on what the digital event is, and kind of what is offered alongside that digital event, how long the teaching is, those sorts of things. But it's relatively affordable to bring that caliber of teaching to your church. And one of the benefits and one of those customizations that you can make is setting your own ticket price. And so if you're, welcoming women in, you could set your ticket price of $15 or $20 or include breakfast and offer it for $30. You can kind of set your own, what works for you. And maybe even make some money back for your ministry, or use that host discount code like we talked about before and purchase Bible studies and books, and then maybe set up like a mini bookstore at your event. So different ways that you can kind of strategize to have the event be something that benefits your church ministry and the women in your area, and multiplies even beyond just the event, but then has ripple effects into getting to promote Bible studies together and all sorts of things. So there's all sorts of ways that this can also benefit your ministry.
I'm just going to take a few minutes now to tell you about just the different digital events that we offer this coming year. We're so excited to offer 3 different types of virtual digital events. So the first one I want to tell you about is one of our newer live events that we received such great feedback on that we said we have to turn this into a virtual event. But that's Feast. It's the Feast virtual event with Christy McClelland. If you're familiar with Christy, you know that she's going to take you through the cultural aspects of the Bible, the historical aspects. She makes stories that we've heard all of our life just come to life because she's taking us to the culture and to the history and teaching us so much. So this is the newest one. It is going to be offered starting March 1st. So you can jump on next week and take part in this first virtual event we're offering for the year. So it will run from March 1st to May 31st. So you can customize it. You can watch it at any time that you want to between those dates. She will be teaching on Luke 15. She has already taught the message. We have filmed it, and it will be we'll be offering it back to you, but about the prodigal son, and you'll just see it in a whole new life. It's 3 sessions. You can customize. We've been talking about customization this whole time, and you can customize that event. You can purchase it with no worship, or you can purchase it with worship. So if you want to have your own worship band, they're leading in worship, or your women just want to come and hear the teaching, you can buy it without the worship, but we also have worship available in that. So I hope you'll look into that and look at that that first one that's coming up that's starting just next week on March 1st. Then we've got our Going Beyond simulcast. This is our one that is recorded live. You can be a part of what's happening in Huntsville, Alabama on that day, simulcasting as we're participating in Huntsville, Alabama with Priscilla Shire and Anthony Evans. But you'll also be able to use it. You don't have to participate that day. You can just to that fun awareness that you're taking part in something that's happening live. But it will be available from August 23rd to October 23rd if you want to watch it after the event, and watch it individually, watch it with your church, watch it with your small group. Again, that's with Priscilla Shire and Anthony Evans, her brother, leading worship. If you know Priscilla, you know that she's going to focus on prayer. She's going to focus on teaching you how to study the Word of God yourself. So it's a long-standing event that we've had with Priscilla and Anthony, and you can take part in that event. And finally, So we've almost had a virtual event in almost every month of the year. Finally, as we come to the end of the year, you can take part in Prepare Him Room, a virtual Christmas event. Women need so much during the busy season of Christmas, just to stop and prepare room in their hearts to celebrate Christmas. So that is going to be with Kelly Mentor, one of our favorite Bible teachers as well. That will be available from November 14th to December 31st. So women, even before Black Friday starts, they can go on and prepare their heart for what the Lord wants to do in their heart this holiday season. It is our shortest virtual event. It's about 90 minutes, so you can do it in one evening and bring the women together, again, as fancy or as simple as you want. Deck yourselves out in the Christmas attire and stuff, or just do it simple. But check out all of our digital events at lifeway.com/digital events to check out more details about all of our digital event offerings.
So today, hopefully we've spent a good amount of time together, and our hope is that you've heard how we make this easy for you. You've heard how customizable these events are, how we partner with churches and women's ministry leaders to put on these events, and so you're not alone. You wouldn't be doing it all by yourself. You would have the support of many others. And finally, also there's some perks. There's some perks to hosting and some benefits to having an event near you. And so I hope that we've helped you to feel like this is something, if you're kind of on the edge, it's something that you maybe feel like, maybe I could do that. That's our hope, is that it would be something you could entertain and see, maybe kind of get that those creative ideas flowing about how you could use one or more of these digital events to fit into your events calendar throughout this next year. So we would love to, if you have questions, I don't know, Vincent, if there's any Q&A questions that have come in, but we would love to take some time to answer those, if so. And we also have a giveaway winner. So I don't know. Should we do the giveaway? Okay. All right. So this is fun. I get to give a giveaway, and our winner is Jen Brooks, and she is joining us from Indiana. Congratulations, Jen. So glad
What will
to
she win?
Oh, yes. Sorry, you tell her.
You go on.
Yes. So we are giving her a host church registration. So that means that you'll be able to host one of these digital events at your church, and we'll let you pick which one, if it works best for you and your schedule. But you will be able, that's an unlimited number of people joining at your church. It's just, whatever size church it is, it's for anybody that comes. So that's pretty exciting. Congratulations, Jen.
And we've got something for everybody that has taken part in today's webinar with us. If you have taken part in this, we're going to give you a discount code. So use digital webinar through March 31st for a discount on one of the digital events this year. So we've got it on the screen right now, digital webinar through March 31st. You can't use it after March 31st, sorry. But if you can use it before March 31st, digital webinar, and you'll get a discount.
Love it. That's so fun. It's fun to get to give that away to you, Jen, and also give that away to everybody else too that's tuning in. So just a little thank you, and hopefully, get you signed up for something coming soon. We do have people still in the chat. So if you haven't asked a question, would love for you to ask them. We do have some simulcast specialists available too, as we mentioned. If you get off of this webinar and you have questions and you're thinking, okay, they said this and I'm curious, how does that work? That's what they're for. Therefore, that's what we're here for. So please reach out to us. We would love to answer those questions. And it's fun to really even to problem solve with you or dream about, like, I don't know if it would work because of this. It's fun for us we put our heads together and try to help you figure out even what would be the best solution. So hope that you'll reach out to us. Amy, I don't know, as we're closing out today, like, do you have any last thoughts, or Vincent, Hannah, do y'all have anything you want to say in closing?
Yeah, I'm excited for Jen, and I'm excited that she is going to be getting to host a digital event. And so many of you are chiming in just even with questions. So I would love to
Great.
get to answer some of those live. Like Mickey was mentioning, we always have our simulcast specialists who are available to reach out to once you've purchased a digital event. But people have put a lot in the chat, and we would
Oh,
love
great.
a little bit to even answer some of those. So okay, one that I saw come through, I'm going to immediately ask Vincent. He is our informational guru, so he knows all things technical. And so he might be teaching all of us. But Debbie had shared that she runs an online women's ministry, and they're located all over the globe. And so, how do they host one Lifeway event using their platform? I feel like I'm about to learn something too. So, can you share that with us?
I love that. Man, we got it on the screen. Look at that. We're fancy. So, it's probably a short answer and not a fully robust one, but I'll give a few details. So there's a few ways that you can accomplish that, but I don't want to say too much one way or the other because there's a few more questions that we'll want to ask so that we can make sure that we serve you the best and kind of operate within your system. I'll say this, casting outside of a live room brings a few other intricacies because of our platform that you don't download the content, you'll cast it from our platform, which is fairly robust, but it does potentially bring limitations depending on how you're sharing that with people around the world and things like at certain times if you're hosting off schedules because of time zones and all that. So if you'll reach out I see the ministry success team's going to reach out. I'm also going to put in the chat here an email address. So if you want to write this down, and if you ever had questions, digital events at, man, Donnie and the man behind the screen is so good. Digital events at lifeway.com. This is a way that you can reach out to us if you have any questions too, and we'll help get those answered.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, we have a couple more. We have a little bit more time just for a few more questions. So if you guys have more, we'd love to answer them offline, but also here, just so you can hear some of the answers. Someone had just chimed in about Prepare Him Room and how it's a really great outreach. And I just wanted to, yes, echo that it is. We've had a lot of churches host it as something to welcome women in. So many people get curious spiritually around Christmas. And so it's a really awesome way to host that. So this is kind of related to that Prepare Him Room. So just even a couple of unique ways that churches have hosted. What are some of those that we can think of? Mickey, Amy, Vincent, we've heard so many from churches, but are there any that come to top of mind for y'all as we think about our churches that have hosted this?
I can think of one for sure. Right off of the top, a girl was telling me she wanted to host Prepare Him Room, but her church's calendar was pretty full. They just were like, "Hey, like that's great, but I just don't think that we can do that this year." And because the cost was, pretty minimal, she was like, "We do have the budget for it. We just don't have like the ability to do it at the church on the calendar." And they said, "We will bless you if you want to do it a different way." And so the way that they decided to host was to go ahead and purchase a church tier, but they divided up in homes across their community. So I think Amy actually alluded to something like this in the beginning, but was kind of fleshing it out a little bit more. And so they had like little kind of like Christmas goodies, and the women went into several different homes in their area. And so they just had, 10 or so women in each one or something along those lines. And they just said that it was a really intimate time. So they experienced the event because it's not, as long, it's not a full weekend, it's just an evening, but they had time for fellowship in the beginning, and they had a really sweet time of just discussion afterwards as well. So I just loved that because they really felt like it was something that they wanted to do, but it just, didn't fit into the greater church calendar, but it was something that was still very doable for the women who wanted to partake. And it was a very relational event for them. So I just loved hearing that. I thought that was creative, and I loved the idea of like having smaller groups. And that can also be, Hannah, to your point of being outreach, having it in your home and being a smaller setting can also be really lend itself to inviting neighbors and people like that in as well.
Yeah, I love that. And we've specifically expanded the dates on that one this year. So you're able to host it a little bit longer, starting on November 14th. And then you have, I know this has popped in the chat a couple times too, you have access all through that time. So you could watch it every day. You could host a mini event every day. You can stream it as many times as you want during those dates. So even hosting in homes, hosting in your church multiple times, there's so many ways that you can customize that to work for you. So yeah, I love that option as well.
While
And
we're,
oh yeah.
if I could, one that a couple unique ways that I've seen too is, well, let me spell it this way. One option you can do is kind of having an inward focus, and meaning that the women in your ministry already, you can go ahead and really, it can be an event, that you're mostly promoting within your church, but there's a lot of outward focus too. We've mentioned a few of those, but one that came to my mind was a couple years ago. Well, we've heard it several times, but one specifically had a good connection with a prison nearby and women inside of this prison. And they took one of the digital events and had an event with these women in the prison, and were able to share, the gospel through those times. And they really were so excited about some of the things that came out of that. So that's one unique way that came to my mind too.
Hannah, can I say one more? Sorry, I
Yes.
know but I just see that I get fired up about this. This is just so fun. But I know another lady had shared that they, because there's just so many different, needs and schedules and stuff within their church. This was specifically the Prepare Him Room event. But what they did is she really utilized that whole time frame, and they offered the event at multiple different times. So she did some, I think it was several in the evening opportunities, and then some even like lunchtime and morning options. She just really wanted like some of the maybe young moms that had time when their kids were at school but couldn't come in the evening, and then she just kind of trying to fit women who work during the day and can come. And so she was trying to really fit all of their different needs and schedules. And I just love that, because sometimes I feel like because I do work full time, I don't always get to go to some of those things. So I loved how intentional she was and how she used that on demand access to be able to offer it multiple times and allow women to come in smaller groups.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that. There's really no wrong way to host it. So we try to make it easy like that. I love that specific example, Mickey. It's so good. So these are great questions. I was trying to see, Vincent, was there any other ones that you saw come through that could be helpful to answer for other women today?
Yeah, I'm taking a look. It looks like we've answered a good number of them. I saw asking about if you could preview it or not, and the answer is potentially yes, but depends on when you're hosting it. So those starting dates on each of those events for this year: March 1st, August 23rd, November 14th. That's the first day that you'd be able to preview the content. So as long as you're hosting, even March 2nd, August 24th, November 15th, you'd be able to watch the day before. But if you're hosting on those first days, you wouldn't be able to preview it before that, because the content just isn't out there yet. Some of our events are live, like the Going Beyond simulcast. It's recorded or simulcasted as it's happening. Some of our other ones are pre-recorded, but we still aren't able to put out the content until that starting time. So just wanted to kind of emphasize that if you're looking to create, I think the discussion was around some like questions that you can create to guide the women through the content as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this makes me so excited, Mickey.
Yeah, I know. I love it.
The team says I'm the nostalgic one because of the first one of convincing people to put a satellite on their church. But I also just think that first simulcast was started just to meet a need, because we couldn't take live events to every city that wanted a live Lifeway event at that time. And now it's meeting a completely different need during those 22 years, I've sat in the seat of several. I've been a host church. I've done it with individuals. I've done it by myself when I've had young kids and couldn't get out of the house on a Saturday to go to a live event, and watched one of our digital events on my phone, working around the house. So it just meets the needs of so many different needs. And I love it. I love the ministry that comes out of it. I love the soft launch of women that wouldn't start coming to an in-depth Bible study of one of our authors. It feels too intimidating, but they will come into somebody's home and meet one of our authors that's going to take them into the Word. And then they'll leave that Prepare Him Room with Kelly mentor and maybe start a new Bible study with her and fall in love with God's Word through that. So yes, I get very nostalgic about it, and just knowing 22 years of ministry, widespread ministry, that we would have never been able to go with live events, that we're able to take these digital events too. So
yeah, I love that, Amy. And I feel similarly. You know, we have seen and heard so many stories, not only just impacted on our own lives, but, you know, continue to hear these kind of testimonials. And, you know, it's just our passion as Lifeway. And hopefully, if you have watched any of these other webinars, you know that we want to equip and serve the local church. And this is a way that we're able to do that, where you're taking an event and applying it in your local context, and able, you know, to provide that ministry in that way. And it's just fun. It's fun. It's a gift to get to partner with you and to have leaders that, you know, will trust us and allow us into your home and into your churches. And so we hope that if you've never done it before, that you'll consider making this a part of just your strategy to help women grow in their relationships with God, with each other, and with God's Word. And just hope that this has made you feel like, wow, that is doable. I think I could do that. And the answer is yes, you can. So we just appreciate you guys spending your time with us today. Vincent, Hannah, always a pleasure. Can't wait till we're all together in person again.
Too.
Here soon. Amy, it was fun to be with you too. And we're just grateful for your time today. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. Vincent had that email up on the screen, but yes, digitalevents@lifeway.com. We'd love to hear from you, answer any questions, and help you plan a really successful women's digital event at your church and in your community. So thank you for a fabulous hour together, and hope you have a great rest of your afternoon.